It's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
In a weekend dominated by the Canadian Open, if you're into that, NBA Finals, another terrific Game 2 of the Stanley Cup between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, which went to well past midnight. Brad Marchand scoring one in double overtime as a winner. Unbelievable postseason player. They tied up at one apiece. We got Game 3 tonight, 8 p.m. on TNT, back in Sunrise. If you wanted to get into that, if you wanted to get into the horse racing, you had the Belmont. Third of the majors, you had Sovereignty, who we haven't seen since the Kentucky Derby, against Journalism.
Did he win?
You didn't even know?
No. No idea.
You have no idea who won from the Belmont.
No idea who won the Belmont.
Right. Do you know who won the French Open final?
Alcaraz.
Also,
it's actually pronounced Alcatraz.
Okay, Christian Alcatraz. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So the French Open final was last night as well. Coco Gauff becomes the first American in over 10 years to win the French Open on the women's side. She beat Sabalenka, and Sabalenka went to the post-match and started talking about how if Swiatek was played her and Coco Gauff didn't beat her, she beat herself. Basically one of the more sore losers you could ever find. And it was a great final. It was a 3-setter. Great final. And then you go into Sunday. And at 9:34 a.m. on Sunday, the men's final started. Carlos Alcaraz, the 22-year-old phenom who has 4 majors, and Jannik Sinner, who has 3 majors already, as a 23-year-old Italian. 9:34 it started. And what ensued over the next 5 hours and 29 minutes was one of the best sporting events I've watched all year.
5 hours?
That and the Masters final round. By far, the 2 best sporting events I've watched this year.
5 hours.
As good as it gets in tennis, as good as it gets in sports, it was a 5-set come-from-behind masterpiece by Carlos Alcaraz. Sinner had 130 points throughout the game. Alcaraz had 129. It was neck and neck the whole way. It was back and forth the whole way. It was dramatic. It was intense. And more importantly, it was classy. And it was just a sight to behold, some of the shot making that you could see on a tennis court. That was a big match. People got into that. It took over the sports world for the better part of yesterday, and that's over Game 2 of the NBA Final. And then Game 2 happened last night, and that game stunk between the Pacers and the Thunder. Thunder were ahead of that for the entire game, essentially. A lot of the same in Game 1, but minus the comeback. Pacers pulled all their starters with that 2 minutes to go. So you had a lot to watch if you were a big-time sports fan. Mike Rizzo decided not to. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, and on your radio dial at ESPN 106.3. I texted the Russo and Rizzo chat, myself, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, and Brian Rowitz, our content director. And I texted them in the middle of the 3rd set. Guys, we're watching one of the best tennis matches I think I've ever watched with my own 2 eyes. Turn on TNT. Not a soul responded, and not a soul watched it. No. I personally think, in our business, that is malpractice to miss that. That is a bad job by everybody involved, especially Mike.
Malpractice. Brother, I laughed. So pre-show meeting, Kyle told me it was malpractice. Christian, I laughed. You want to know what I did at 9:30 instead, Christian? The Last Dance was on ESPN 2. I rewatched The Last Dance.
See, that is a joke.
5 straight episodes.
That is a joke.
So, and then,
that is a joke.
And then also, I had that on in the background. Christian, I'm off. I usually work 6 days a week.
What are you
I'm
talking?
off
It's we're
Sunday.
watching sports. This is not a talk about you're working. You're watching.
Christian,
You're watching a match.
Christian, I'm off Sunday. The boys and I decided 10:15 we're gonna grind the Grandmaster Nightfall for Destiny.
So Christian was playing golf.
I'm playing Destiny.
Christian, he was playing golf. I could listen to that.
So I'm playing. So hang on.
He was playing video games.
I'm playing Destiny while I have The Last Dance on in the background with my mates in Discord. I get done at like 11:30. I go and work out. I get back to the setup at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I threw on baseball. It already started by then. And then after that, I threw on the soccer match that happened, the Nations League final.
As a sports talk show host.
Where Portugal and Ronaldo achieved victory and they won a piece of silverware.
So
very big deal. And Ronaldo scored the decisive goal.
Fine. Nobody talked about that in American sports today. Everybody, it's the talk of the town.
Is it the talk of the town, Christian? Is Alcaraz the talk of the town?
No.
Okay.
No.
I kind of tend to agree.
It was
our program
one of the
director,
greatest. You guys are not seriously. We're sports fans here, right?
So
and that's one of the greatest sporting events I've watched this year by a long shot. And I told you guys to watch it.
I'm not a tennis guy though.
It doesn't matter.
No one's
it doesn't
tennis.
Matter.
Dude, tennis doesn't play like
Turn
that.
it
Kyle.
on.
I don't think tennis plays like that.
Plays like what?
I know you love tennis.
Plays like what?
It's similar to me liking soccer.
Play like what?
Your love for tennis is like my love for soccer.
And I don't love soccer. I'll watch the World Cup. I'll watch the big time matches. In the Europe leagues, probably not. World Cup, when it comes to that, yes. When it's an all-time great match that, hey, you got to tune in for that, I'll turn it on. Because you got to think like a sports fan. You're a sports talk radio host.
It's a French Open. I don't care.
It doesn't
people
matter.
care about Christian. Do people care about the French Open?
Wouldn't have known it was.
Honest to God, Colin. I'm usually with you on this kind of stuff.
Oh, please,
dude! Tennis is such tennis is a waste of time,
dude.
Tennis
More
is such a
people
waste
probably
of time,
watch
dude.
Money in the Bank WWE pay-per-view on Saturday.
Yep.
I don't know I don't know the rating. It's on TNT, so I'm curious on what that did at 9 a.m. domestically. I'd argue it probably finished in the 5 million range. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But still, that's a damn good rating for a TNT, not major network.
I'm on the stand here, and I am being tried for malpractice.
But here's the thing.
Here's
my problem. Here's my problem. You're not doing anything. You're playing video games.
What do you mean I'm not doing anything?
You're playing video games. I told you to watch a sporting event. I told you to watch sporting because I wanted to talk about it today, and you didn't watch it. How is that? You're a sports fan. Try to be a sports fan for a second. If I'm telling you to watch it and you're not going to watch it.
I listen, you might be on to something there.
In order to play video games?
Destiny 2, we were grinding the Nightfall Grandmaster.
That is ridiculous. Think logically for a second. That is even if you're not even going to watch the beginning. The second half of it was as good as tennis gets.
5.5 hours. It was on for 5.5 hours. There's no way I was watching 5.5 hours of tennis.
Watch the last 3 hours. Watch the last 2 hours. Watch the last 2 hours. Watch the comeback. When Carlos Alcaraz was down in the fourth set, 5-3, 40 love, a triple championship point. And the match ended an hour 43 minutes later.
So this is, in your eyes, I completely dropped the ball at my profession.
Yes.
At my profession, I dropped the ball.
Yes. You have to watch that. Especially when I give you, and I'm not saying you have to watch it on your own
I know
time.
what happened in the match.
I told you to watch it. No, you don't.
I know what happened in the match.
All right, tell me the theme of the match. Walk me through it.
Sinner was in the lead. Alcaraz was down to his game point a few times.
All right, other than what I just told you, tell me more.
And then an hour and a half later, Alcaraz ended up winning the title.
Tell me something else.
That's what I know. I knew that before you told me.
Oh, please.
I knew that before.
You have to watch that.
I saw the graphic.
That is a bad job on your part.
I saw the graphic. It was 40-0 in the final set, and he was down, and he came back and he won. Fair play to him. I did not. I apologize.
It was the second longest major final in the history of tennis.
Listen, if I offended you, if you were offended by me not watching the game, I apologize on that. I can't
take you seriously. I can't take you seriously when you're not going to watch something like that.
I don't do the tennis. I don't do the tennis.
It doesn't matter. It's like you don't. It's like when the golf is on. It's like you don't watch golf. You don't watch golf every weekend, but you turn on
every week. I turn on when the Masters is on.
Yeah,
when the Masters.
You're gonna watch the U.S. Open this weekend.
If the final day is good, I'll tune in.
You gotta watch this stuff.
If the Sunday is good, I'll tune in.
You gotta watch this stuff.
You know, I did not.
You gotta watch French Open final when you know that it's a come from behind. Everybody's talking about it. This was a major event in sports.
See, I kind of disagree there. I don't think everyone's talking. I think a select few are talking about it.
I saw basketball heads watching it, and this is media people. People in media in basketball, in football, in baseball. Sure. They were all talking about it. This is not because nobody watched it. People watched it.
I think different strokes for different folks.
You got to, but the thing is, here's the thing. I told you to watch it Because that to me
Christian,
is that is the easy lead for today. That is the easy lead for today's show.
So he told us to watch it. To his credit, were we not good friends to Colin Russo for not watching the French Open?
He should have asked.
He did ask, though. I'll give him that. He asked.
What do you ask? What?
He told or asked?
He said, "You guys
don't make this." All right, that's a technicality. I'm not even listening to that.
No.
I'm saying you should have. You were not doing anything.
Yes, I was.
Christian,
I was.
Please. Christian was playing golf that he already scheduled. I could listen to that.
I was.
And Christian, what time was your round done? Noon?
It was a 9 a.m. and then I got drunk afterwards
right,
at the course, talking to a great Love JP, lost leg. Go get a membership there.
See, that's why that was a joke too, because he's sitting in a clubhouse where there's probably 11 feet from a TV.
So, Colin,
no one asked to put the tennis on.
I know, like you poo-poo the video games. But in Destiny, you need 6 people to run these dungeons.
Don't even finish this thought.
We planned on this. We planned on this. I am going to finish it.
Don't even finish this thought.
I am going to finish it because you need 6 people to get this done. I needed 5 of my buddies. 6 of us had to come to the understanding we're all off work. We all want the gun that we're grinding for, and we had to figure it out.
You're making it seem like when you have to watch a sporting event, it is you working. It is not you working. Watch the sporting event because it's a great sporting event.
And then after that, when Christian, we got done in about an hour and a half. I went to the gym. I ran my 3 miles. And then
you were done at 1, and you still could have watched 2 hours of the French Open.
I was done at 1:30.
And you still could have watched an hour and a half.
There were some pretty good-looking girls at the pool, hung out at the pool for a little bit, all right? And then I came back to Colin's point about 2 o'clock. I didn't even think twice. The pregame for the soccer was already starting. I had Uncle Mark's birthday dinner at 5:30 down in Boca.
Okay, you don't need to explain to me dinner. I don't care about dinner. I care about during the day when you're doing nothing. You just
not doing anything.
You just explained to us how you were doing nothing, hanging out at the pool and playing video games with your friends. You were doing nothing. And you did not turn it on. And you got the 11 screens, not even one screen.
Not even one.
That is ridiculous. That is you not taking your job seriously.
No, I don't take tennis seriously because I'm not a tennis fan.
That is a joke. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be. Non-tennis fans watched yesterday. Non-tennis fans.
I don't know, Colin. I don't know.
Please.
I don't know,
All of my friends who are sports fans were tuned into that. And that's not me reminding them. They were tuned into that because Alcaraz and Sinner are the 2 best players in tennis.
That's fair. I just don't
final.
I don't get into the tennis.
You gotta watch that. You gotta watch that.
I didn't think
you gotta suck it up and watch it.
I didn't think it'd be something we'd be breaking down for an hour.
Well, what do you want to do? You want to do this game 2? What was game 2 so interesting? Please tell me. I watched the greatest sporting event outside of McIlroy's final round at the Masters.
Game 2.
It was the best sporting event I watched all year. Do not even finish the thought about game 2. There was nothing interesting about game 2 today.
I think more people care about Jair Alexander getting released from the Packers
I agree
than care
with that.
about the tennis.
I agree with
Doesn't
that.
matter.
And I'm starving for football.
Doesn't matter.
I agree, and I am starving for football.
Reaching.
If
you're a casual sports fan, if you're a casual sports fan, and you did not tune into last night, and maybe you didn't know what was happening, that's fine. But when I'm telling you to watch it, and I'm saying this, I literally, quote for quote, said this is one of the best tennis matches I've ever watched with my own 2 eyes, and you're not even tuning in?
So
it's a bad job.
You wanted me to be able to come on the microphone and break down the nitty and gritty of the French Open?
We could talk about it, and you can't do that today. That's why I'm annoyed.
Let's do 10 minutes of wow, that was great. Or is there something else about the tennis match?
There was something else because it was a comeback. It was a championship point.
That would be
triple point.
That would not be being genuine to Mike Rizzo to half-ass his way into tennis talk.
If he watched it, he could talk about it because we're talking about the match. I'm not talking about the history. I'm not talking about the grand scope of the league.
Listen.
I'm saying that was I've watched a lot of tennis. That was the second best tennis match I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes.
Awesome.
And is with 2 all-time greats at a future time. This is why I can't take you seriously as a sports fan. You missed Game 5 of the World Series, and Mike is missing the French Open when I'm telling you to watch. That's why I can't take you guys seriously.
It's called being an adult.
It's not being an adult.
Sometimes you got to play video games.
That's ridiculous. You got to watch that.
Guys,
I'm not even kidding. Maybe I'm joking. I'm legitimately annoyed with that.
I know. He is angry. No.
You guys should actually watch that.
I pissed him off.
And then Mike's going to turn this around into soccer. When there's an important soccer match, I'll tune in. When there's one
that was important.
Portugal, Spain?
Yeah, it was important.
I didn't see that today. Interesting.
It was important.
Because I heard Yannick Sinner.
If you're a soccer fan, that's important.
I saw Yannick Sinner on today. A lot of people talked about it.
That was a big game.
And I'm not saying we need to do what everybody else talks about, but the fact that it was in tune with people who don't know anything about tennis, the fact that it was tells you that you need to watch it. As a sports fan, that is the bottom line. You need to be a sports fan.
What I want to ask is 888-760-3776. Am I guilty here for sports malpractice and job malpractice?
Totally.
Am I guilty here?
And Colin, you wanted to lead with that today?
Yes, not even close.
Guarantee it was not led anywhere else on ESPN.
100%. Not even a question.
All right, let's check. I'll be right back.
888-760-3776. Was Mike wrong in not
watching a second of the French Open? Not a
after
second.
being told to watch the French Open and playing video games instead and going to the pool? I'm saying it because this is what happened. Oh, I'm not spinning any words.
Listen.
That's exactly what happened.
It was a Sunday morning where Mike Rizzo had a rare day off. He throws on the TV. He sees on ESPN2 one of his favorite NBA players ever, Michael Jordan's documentary is on. Watch 3 or 4 episodes of Last Dance. Get into the boys in Discord. We grind some video games. I go to the gym, go to the pool after, tune in for a little Spain and Portugal. Then I go to Uncle Mark's birthday dinner in Boca. I don't see anything wrong with that Sunday.
Gotta watch it.
Not watching some godforsaken 5.5-hour tennis match that no one cares about. No one cares about it.
It was unbelievable. It was one of the great sporting events I've watched all year. You were dead wrong for not watching that, especially with me telling you to. Dead wrong.
So is this more about me not being a good friend or a bad sports radio show host?
Sports radio show host. That's what it is.
So malpractice
because sports radio show hosts have to watch the games. Doesn't matter if you're not even going to touch about it or not. You pride yourself in being in tune with what's going on with sports. 888-760-3776 was. He thought Sinner was going to roll over and die. It goes all the way to a tiebreak, 6-6. Then it goes to a 10-point tiebreak. It was as good as tennis possibly can get. There were 7 NFL players in the stands. There were actors.
They're tennis fans, though. I'm not a tennis fan. I couldn't care less about tennis.
You have to watch it. I'm not a soccer fan. I'll tune into the World Cup.
I don't know if I agree have to watch. I just
have to.
I don't think I agree with that. I think Super Bowl, World Series, the NHL, the Stanley Cup, I'm tuned in. This, I don't know, Kyle. Why
didn't you even try it? When's the last time you watched a full tennis match in full? And don't lie.
I don't think I've ever watched a full tennis match.
So you've never given it a shot.
I've never watched a full tennis match.
You've never even given it a shot. I do remember. You don't buy it.
What was the win where Nadal fell to the floor after he beat Federer? I was watching that.
The 7 times he's done that? I mean, you're talking about 2014 Australian. You're talking about, was it on grass?
It was on grass, really important one.
Was it 2008 Wimbledon?
Yes, and I was watching with my brother as like a 14-year-old because my brother is into the tennis.
2008 Wimbledon is the greatest tennis
match. My brother,
now
to Colin's point, my brother called me an idiot yesterday for not watching the tennis.
The level of importance of the tennis was like number 3 at the 5 at 5.
Well, that's you making it. That's your personal opinion.
No, that's me looking at every other show that's on ESPN 106.3 on Sportsmanlike. 4 hours of the show posted, and tennis is mentioned
I don't care
once.
about what in Sportsmanlike because none of those guys watched it. None of those guys
we'll go
watched
to Clinton
it.
and Friends. No tennis mentioned. Led with the Pacers. Joe and Q, more the same.
They did. Hold on. Joe and Q and Clinton and Friends, I don't think he did. Joe and Q did about 45 minutes on tennis today. I don't know if you missed that.
Podcast not posted yet. I'm looking for titles. How they want to market.
They brought on 3 guests.
They're going to hide it in the podcast. They don't want to advertise. They talked about
fine.
Tennis.
That's fair, but you got to talk about it and you got to watch it. That's fair. You want to talk about what's
you're
sexy?
You're the tennis guy. You're going to fill us in on it.
You want me to fill you in on it? I'll gladly fill you in on it.
The 5 at 5.
Yannick Sinner hadn't dropped a set the entire tournament. The entire tournament. Goes in, wins the first 2 against Alcaraz, a very hard-fought first 2 sets. Third set comes about. Alcaraz, to his credit, finally gets one. You got to drop a set. Then Sinner gets tight. Goes to 5-3 in the 4th set. Championship point, 5-3. Sinner was in the driver's seat. It was 40-love. He needed to get 1 point to win the French Open. And Alcaraz rumbles back 3 straight to steal that game. He breaks his serve the following, forces it at 6 apiece, then all of a sudden goes to a tiebreak, and he wins the tiebreak. Then he forces it to a 5th set. 5th set comes about. It's 4 hours in at this point. Why was this interesting? Because Yannick Sinner was 0-6 going into this point in 4+ hour matches. And Alcaraz, another point, is 12-1 in 5-setters. That's where it gets interesting. Because everybody's looking at the clock. You're 3 hours and 54 minutes, and Yannick Sinner has to close this. And then it goes to the 5th set, and it's the most back and forth, intense, best shot making for tennis I think I've ever watched. That's how good it was. That I don't understand.
Is this more Colin being into it or relevant? Does that make sense?
This feels like
is this
first
like
name on the show title really likes this sport.
See,
Christian's bothered.
Christian's bothered because I said you're not a big sports fan. You're not a big sports fan. That's it.
No, I'm not bothered by that.
So okay, Christian,
I'm a big sports fan.
Here's the thing. I told you guys to watch it. Why aren't you guys watching this?
Adults.
Because it's Sunday. I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Should we go through Mike's routine again? Listen, I understand you had a tea time. That was probably
I wouldn't have watched if I was at home.
If
I was at home, I'd watch Lost.
All right, fine. I can understand the tea time. But
Did
Mike,
you not just hear what he said? Did you not just hear what he said?
I don't put pressure on Christian for watching that. I put pressure on you for watching that. Because I told you to watch that.
I did not.
I asked you. I didn't even tell you. I asked you to watch it.
I didn't know the magnitude it meant for you.
888-760-3776. Who do we got on with us today?
We got Ernesto and Borton leading off.
Hi, Ernie. Welcome in. What do you got for us?
Ernie, what up?
Oh, my God. You dropped the ball on that one, buddy.
It's okay.
I mean,
Who?
that's your job.
Me.
Well,
he's talking about me.
Yeah, I'm talking about you. I'm glad you actually atoned to this because it's a job. I mean, you could have just put it on. You could have said you watched it later on DVR if you wanted to, but not to watch it at all, even when it was live.
Yeah.
She's Delray's own. Coco Golf, buddy. No one has won. An American woman has won it since what? 2015? I mean, maybe something.
Decade. It's been a decade.
Decades. And you know what was the last time? When Serena won it. And look, a little backstory. When Serena won it in 99, I was a limo driver in New York. I took her to that game. And I told her she's going to win. And when I got to meet the golf family, and I did, I told CCAT that I got to know them, and I know them kind of well, that she was going to win it this year, that don't worry about what happened last year, that this year was going to be her year. She's going to be it. She's going to be the number one this year. And, dude, I can't say that's not your,
Ernie,
your
we
job,
were talking, first off, listen, I appreciate you being honest here, but we were talking about the Alcaraz match.
The Coco Golf thing, too, was a three-setter. It took 2.5 hours. That's the same thing, and it's Delray Beach's own.
I understand that. But at the same time, we were talking about the Alcaraz match.
Well, did you watch the Coco Golf match?
I did not watch the Coco Golf match. No.
Okay.
I did not watch the Coco Golf match.
You can't get the semantics and then not have the other end of the semantics.
I did not watch. Guys, when I said I watched zero tennis yesterday, I watched zero tennis yesterday, and I don't plan on watching tennis anytime soon.
Locally and American-wise, there was a reason to watch it. And then in terms of quality-wise, there was a reason to watch it on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in tennis. I'm not going to watch it.
888-760-3776. The number to get into the program. Was Mike wrong for not watching this? Let's go to Cologne in New Jersey. Cologne, New Jersey. Welcome into the program. Cologne, what's up?
Hey guys. Listen. First of all, Mike. You're not wrong for not watching the match. You're wrong is when he calls you that is an epic match. You got to watch it. You got to tune in to watch it because if you guys going to do, let's say, a top 5 events of 2025, then you don't know what you're talking about because you didn't watch this epic match. So if you don't like tennis, great. But if you're a sports fan and somebody tells you this is an epic match, which it was because he won 5 straight points when it was to beat them, or actually to stay alive in the 4th set. And it wasn't a collapse either because he came back in the 5th set to be up 6-5 with 2 championship points, and Alcaraz still won the match. You gotta at least know something about the match, if you're going to debate top sporting events.
I understand that, and I understand what happened in the match. I just didn't watch a second.
Don't do that.
I just didn't watch a second.
He just told you when it's a top 5 event of 2025, and you couldn't apply a single piece of context.
That's where we disagree. I couldn't care less. I think the average sports fan that listened to us couldn't care less about that damn tennis match.
Let's go to the third caller. 888-760-3776. Number to get into the program. Was Mike wrong for not watching the French Open? Is that Eddie and Boynton we got with us? Eddie and Boynton, welcome in. What do you got for us?
Hey, Mikey. I don't think you're wrong, bro. It's, if you're not into a sport and then they call you and tell you, hey, there's something is going on here. This could be epic, blah, blah, blah. It's like going to go see an art movie. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, if there's beautiful art throughout the movie. If you don't like art, you don't like art, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know,
But he likes sports, Eddie.
I love sports.
Eddie, he likes sports.
Yeah, well, of course.
He likes movies.
Right.
You like movies.
Eddie, forgive me, partner. Forgive me for thinking that about 5% of our listener audience could give a crap about what happened on Sunday.
Here's the problem with
5%. I put it at 5%. Honest to God, Christian. Less. Maybe even less.
888-760-3776. The problem is I told you to watch it and you didn't. I asked you to watch it and
So
you were doing
you're
nothing.
offended that I didn't watch it because you told me to watch it.
Because it tells me that you don't really take the sports aspect of it that seriously.
That is, dude.
That
That is
reeks
just.
of a 10-year-old marriage where
please.
someone doesn't take the garbage
If somebody
out.
told me to watch a big-time sporting event, you got to turn it on.
Didn't
If
watch
somebody
WrestleMania.
asks you-
I just don't.
because I don't. That's the thing.
That's where we draw the line.
Sports is not encapsulated around what's going on. That's not going on SportsCenter tonight. That's not going on the SportsCenter top one. It's not.
Talked about on Sportsmanlike, 5-minute clip.
I don't care.
talked about.
That doesn't interest me. It's not going to be talked
Tennis
about
does
on
not
sports.
interest Mike.
Yeah,
But point
and
being,
I think a lot of our listener base. That's Colin. And listen, honest to God, it sounds like I personally offended you here. And if I did, I apologize.
I am. I'm
All
a little
right,
annoyed by
and
that. I'm
I
not personally
apologize to
offended.
it.
I think you're dead wrong.
Partner,
You were dead
I did
wrong
not.
for
I
doing
did
that.
not.
You were
think-
dead wrong.
I did not think this was something you would be so gosh darn passionate about to the point where you wanted to lead the show off with it today. Because I honestly to God think 5% of our listener audience cares. 5%.
You should have watched it. That's the bottom line. You should have watched it. And there's Jair Alexander leading with that. You want to talk about show topics, please. Doesn't do anything for me. 888-760-3776. I think Mike is wrong here. If you think I'm wrong, fine. Let us know. 888-760-3776.
How about this? In the future, if you tell me to watch something, I'll watch it.
I could agree with that.
I'll watch
That's fine.
it. All right.
That's fine. And you know what? Life moves on. I get it. But I think you were wrong here in the idea of being a sports talk radio host and your sports talk radio host co-host texts you, hey, you should tune into this event. Something big is going on. And you didn't.
Right.
In order to play video games and go to the pool.
I apologize for that. I apologize for being a bad friend and a bad colleague.
It's not about being a
But at the same time,
it's about being a co-host.
I don't think it's malpractice for not watching a meaningless tennis match.
It's not meaningless.
To me, it is.
Meaningless.
To me, it is, and the listener audience, it is.
It was the third most.
It's the French Open in tennis, Kyle.
Mike,
this isn't the NBA Finals.
What gives you a gauge of that? What gives you a gauge
This isn't the Stanley Cup.
What gives you a gauge of
No one talks tennis. That's what gives me the gauge to it. Tennis is a niche sport.
When have you been walking around asking, what do you think about Alcaraz? You're
Listen,
not doing that.
I understand, and listen.
You're not doing that.
I understand soccer.
You're not doing that. That's the bottom line,
I
Mike.
understand soccer. Tennis is like soccer.
You don't need to turn it
I
around
know
to
a
soccer.
ton of
It's
soccer.
It's not like
just
soccer.
like it. It's just
not.
like it.
Soccer's
It's just like it.
Soccer is seasonal. Soccer is a season, unless you are a diehard like yourself. Soccer is seasonal. Tennis is also seasonal. You watch it when it's big. You don't need to turn into Monte Carlo and the Rome. You don't need to turn into that. You don't need to watch Indian Wells. But you need, if something big is going on live and you're not doing anything.
I was doing, but like,
oh, God.
I know you don't want to hear this, but like, serious video gamers understand you need 6 players for a dungeon.
You're 30 years old.
If you don't have 6 for a dungeon,
turn on the tennis.
Come on.
Turn on the tennis.
You're going to bring
You are
age into this?
Yes, you're
Stop
30 years old, Mike.
Stop it.
Turn on the tennis.
Stop it.
That is a joke.
Don't
turn on the tennis.
Don't turn it on.
I'm not turning
on
on
the tennis.
At a principle
Listen,
now.
if Colin reaches out again and tells you to watch something, I'm going to watch it. Because I actually feel pretty bad that he feels like I disrespected him. That's not what I wanted.
It's not about disrespect.
Okay.
I care more about you guys actually tuning into the sport. I want you guys to tune. I'm not asking you to watch the semifinal. I'm not asking you guys to watch the quarterfinal. I'm asking you guys to watch a final on a Sunday morning. You don't even have to watch the whole thing. I texted you with there's 2 hours.
Will
left
you
in the
watch
match.
Inter Miami in the Club FIFA World Cup?
I will watch that during the Club FIFA World Cup.
You will watch
in an important tournament. I will watch that. If they're in the final, you're goddamn right. I will.
You should watch the group stages. I don't think they're going to get out of the group stage.
So
but
I'll tune into a group
watch,
stage.
You
Fine.
should watch the group stage.
If there's a big match, absolutely, and especially if it's a classic, you're damn right. I'll tune it in.
Okay,
That's fine.
That's better.
I'll meet you halfway.
Because that was one of the best sporting events I've ever watched live. Ever watched. And that's not just me being hyperbolic. It was that good.
It's not you building it up because you like it. It's fact.
Mike.
It's
you want me
fact.
to read the scorecard for you?
Colin,
you want me to read the scorecard?
We went through it. We're good.
So you don't want to know that you're acting like I'm being hyperbolic when it was 6-4-7-6 and it's 6-4-7-6-7-6? Does that not look great to you? It was great. I think you're dead wrong here.
5.5 hours, too. That was one of the long. Kyle,
It was the second longest major final in the history.
Kyle, you're going to be.
of
Kyle,
tennis.
you watched all 5.5 hours of that?
Yes, and it was around Sunday Huddle too, and we had an eye on it the whole time.
Dude, I can't. Christian, I don't think I could do anything for 5.5 hours other than drive because, like, I'm trying to get A to B. You know what I mean?
Not as much.
5.5
no, 'cause
hours.
I do watch golf, and that's kind of the timetable on those rounds. But not for something that someone asked me to do.
Here's the great thing about tennis, and I'll say it. It's
don't have to talk about it.
one of, if not the most difficult sport to be at the top of the profession.
I'm not saying it's not either.
Because it's one-on-one. There is no substitutions. There's no coaching. There's no bathroom breaks. There's none of that. There's no medical
Wait,
timeouts.
really? If you want to go to the bathroom,
You
can't go
can,
to
but
the-
they didn't. Not
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay.
You can, but it's like a whole thing, and you got to requests.
Okay.
There's none of that. It's one-on-one, no clock on it. It is complete and utter. You got to. And the best thing about the tennis scoring system is you're never out of it. So you can't, I guess, start coasting when you think you got a big lead. You still got to outplay your opponent for the rest of the match. That's exactly what happened yesterday. That's why the scoring system is great. That's why I think that sport, and why are all those guys complete specialists? They've never played another sport in their life. That's the Williams sisters are two of them as well. Coco Gauff trained since she was a child. It's because of the specialist nature of it. Similar to golf. You got to be in tune with getting so much better, and it's almost perfect timing. And the craziest part about tennis is only 2 guys have won the last 9 majors. 2 guys. And then before that, it was 3 guys winning 95% of the majors. That's 5 guys since basically the turn of the century dominating the sport. That's how hard that is. That's why I think you got to treat it with a little respect. I'll defend tennis here. I don't watch every match, but you got to treat it with a little respect. Because
it was not high on the totem pole.
Here's the
and
thing.
maybe I'm
Here's the
completely
thing.
wrong on
'Cause
that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Some of the
on
more
that.
famous athletes in the world are tennis players. Some of the more rich athletes in the world are tennis players. It's a lucrative sport. It's a famous sport. It's a worldwide sport. And you got 5 guys who dominated basically the entirety of tennis since 2002. It's crazy. That's why I think that when you watched yesterday, it was the onset of probably one of the great rivalries that tennis has ever seen. The 22-year-old and a 23-year-old. And you got, 7 Hall of Famers in the stands. You got Spike Lee in your ear right here. You got 5
They
actors.
like tennis, though. You know what?
Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker sitting right there.
They like tennis.
Fine. But you got to understand when there's a big sports moment. Because you're not a big golf fan, but you'll tune into the Masters. You got to understand when and that's true. And I'm the same way. I watch all the majors. I'll watch a tournament here and there. Did I watch the end of the Canadian a little bit? Yeah. But do I watch the whole tournament? No. But when there's a big moment, I think you have, in my opinion, an obligation to tune into it. Or at least understand what's going on.
And I appreciate you saying that. I do not think tennis fits that criteria, but maybe
I had put the
maybe I'm wrong
Daytona
on that.
500
Maybe I'm wrong
above the
on that.
French Open final.
Tell me one thing about the Daytona 500.
Biggest race of the year twice.
Who won it?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's another thing I don't
That's
watch.
how far tennis is down.
Christian,
on your list.
Christian, that's a Daytona 500. Another thing that I don't watch and don't think is a part of the.
Because you can beat everyone on the track anyway. This is like watching minors.
They go $140. But all I'm saying is football, basketball, baseball, the hockey, golf.
The hockey. Don't sell me on the hockey, too.
The hockey.
Oh, God.
That like those are the 5 you got to be in tune with. And I think
Are you in tune with the hockey right now?
I think absolutely the Panthers are in it, especially on the local level. Oh yeah,
You've watched every Panther postseason game this postseason, or most of them?
I've watched semifinal on. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And actually, no, my brother.
An obligation.
My brother works for the Lightning.
There's
I watched
an obligation.
I watched. Now that I think about it, I've watched the Panther games. Though every series, I've watched every series of the Panther games.
You going to the game tonight?
I'm not going to the game tonight, but I will be watching.
Okay. Christian, you going to the game tonight?
I just texted Tina about carpool plans. I think it's my obligation to go to the Panthers game tonight.
Good.
Which is it really is a sad thing to say out loud because people would kill to be in the building tonight for a Stanley Cup final game. So that's really the deciding factor to me is I cannot let this opportunity pass me by.
You being serious? Or you being sarcastic?
I'm being serious.
Okay.
Why do you think that I'm not being genuine?
I agree because you have a sarcastic tone that doesn't change between your normal tone.
Yeah.
So that's why.
It gets me in trouble.
Yeah. 888-760-3776. We'll go to break after this. But Mike did not watch the French Open. I asked him to watch.
Kyle's trying to get me fired on the spot.
I'm not trying to get you fired.
As a sports radio, he's questioning my integrity.
Nobody else watched it in the office, so that'll give you. You know what? 3 people watched it.
Christian, Kyle is questioning the integrity of my profession right now.
Yeah.
Gotta watch it. When I asked you to, you gotta watch it.
We did 33 minutes on this.
When you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it.
A lot better on this than we would do 5 minutes on the tennis. That's what would have happened. If Mike watched it, we're doing 3 minutes on it.
That's not true.
I think I agree with Christian on this.
We would have led with it.
We just did.
I know. But it was a negative connotation.
I'll ask one more time. Is this more about me being at malpractice or more about Colin loving tennis?
This is more
my
about
last one.
When you're watching, when you got to watch something like this, because all I did, it was an important match. I just thought you should have watched it. That's it. And you didn't. And you didn't in favor of video games. And yes, that stings a little bit more.
Disgruntled spouse. That's what it sounds like. That's what the entire tone is. Because I asked you to. That's why, Mike. That's why you should watch it.
You're playing Destiny with your friends, and then you go to the pool, and it's still on.
I've not heard.
This is not.
Hang on.
You're not feeding the homeless. You're not building homes.
Colin age shamed me. He said, "You're 30. Turn the video games off and turn the French Open on."
This is Jim getting mad at Pam for not recording the recital and not really know how I'm going to do it.
So I'm 30. I can't play video games because
not during the French Open. You could play it any other time of the day. I can't control what you do in your day. But when there's something historic going on, you got to turn it on. That's the bottom line. You got to turn it on. That's as good as it gets. That, in terms of sports, what I saw yesterday is as good as it gets, and that's not being hyperbolic. That match was that good. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian the Cat, taking a time out here on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ, that's JOEQ, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies. Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
It's Theo Dorsey, and I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Temperatures are up, but your water shouldn't be full of mystery floaties. Culligan's got your back with water testing and reverse osmosis systems to keep things clean, cool, and crisp this summer. And get this, you can try it for just $10 a month. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stop drinking who knows what. Visit Culligan.com today to schedule your free water test.
Hey, Culligan man!
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, June the 9th, 2025, with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. Go start your day off with a victory over at F45, locations in downtown West Palm Beach and Wellington. F45, more the functional side of working out. So if you're somebody like me who wants to feel more flexible, just feel honestly a little better, a little more nimble in your body, that's what they actually have covered. 45-minute classes, 2 coaches on site. They got classes through the morning and the afternoon. It's fun because it's a bunch of like-minded fitness individuals showing up to class, listening to loud music, and honestly, you turn your brain off, and then all of a sudden you blink, and it's over, and you're out of there, and you paid your dues for the day. F45, get your first 3 classes for just $30. Find a studio near you online at F45, or check out their Instagram, F45 Downtown, West Palm Beach. I have a guess of where I'm going to go with my temperature check. We'll see what the other two have to do. Let's do a little John C. Cassidy temperature check.
Keep your cool. This is the Temperature Check.
Mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 80s.
Presented by John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Keeping Palm Beach County cool since 1960.
Plenty of sunshine today with seasonal temperatures. We should reach our...
John C. Cassidy Temperature Check, presented by our pals over at John C. Cassidy. Visit CassidyAC.com for more information today, and go get your system as the hot summer months are here in South Florida. So what we'll do is we'll go around the room a little bit and determine who was cool under the pressure and who was not, who crumbled and who rose to the occasion. I will start, and I'm going to steal it because I don't think either of you two are going to do it. Carlos Alcaraz.
Who?
Carlos Alcaraz.
Play for the Astros?
22-year-old, 5 majors already. Triple championship point in the 4th set, 5-3, 40 love. rumbled back against the number one player in the world who has basically swept the competition in the last two majors and was one of the more emphatic comebacks I think I've ever seen at a professional sports level. Carlos Alcaraz is my answer for keeping their cool under pressure.
If we're going that route, I'll go Cristiano Ronaldo and his volley goal in the 61st minute.
Sorry, it's your chance to shine, Mike.
Right,
You talk
right.
about the sport that you care
Right.
about, but nobody else does.
Exactly.
The floor is yours.
Exactly. So I'm going to go with Cristiano Ronaldo, 61st minute. Got his right foot on the end of a volley. Tied things 2-2 with Spain. Spain, the absolute juggernaut in the world. They're coming off of winning the Euros. They're going to be the favorite to win the World Cup coming up here in the States in the summer. Give me Cristiano Ronaldo, baby. The GOAT.
Listen, if we're all going to be selfish here, who kept their cool was R-Truth. On Saturday night, Money in the Bank, WWE Universe, they were sad. R-Truth, he got let go. Fan favorite, hilarious wrestler's been there for decades. And later last week, it was announced that he was not going to get re-signed. Shows up at Money in the Bank, spears John Cena, reveals his face, loudest pop of the year in wrestling. R-Truth kept his cool because when he didn't get re-signed, he stuck to it and decided, you know what, I'm going to show up to a premiere live event at WWE.
I have to catch up on it. I need to watch the pay-per-view.
I'm not going to hold it against you.
I can't wait to on Monday.
You're going to pay for the pay-per-view after the fact?
It's on Peacock.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets uploaded.
It's on Peacock. Yeah, go watch on Peacock.
I'm not going to tell you how to fan, Mike. You can watch it now, you can watch it later.
I had a lot going on, this weekend.
Clearly.
Did not want to.
Clearly.
Well, the campaign is going to do itself. Listen, these gremlins and these ghouls are not going to attack each other in Mike's computer themselves. You
Right.
get to step in.
I was confused on what you were talking about.
I was swamped this weekend. I had Saturday tailgate and a whole bunch of nothing after that, but sitting in front of the screen, watching some sports, and playing some
Funny thing
video
is, you
games.
got like 11 screens.
I do.
You got like 11 screens.
I do tennis. Like I count. Listen. I might have completely missed the boat on the tennis. I just did not think it was important, and I did not want to watch
Complaining it was 5.5 hours when you sat in your chair for 5.5 hours playing video games.
I mean, yeah. Overall, over the weekend, probably put it close to 5 hours playing the game over 2 days.
Right.
But yeah, the guy who kept his cool, Christian, the savvy vet, Ronaldo, 61st minute, baby.
I'll flip on the other side there. I mean, the Yankees can they pitch? I mean, geez. I think about over the weekend the amount of offense that they let up to the Red Sox. The Red Sox who haven't been playing well and who just called up Roman Anthony, their number one prospect, by the way. But I got to give the Red Sox a little bit of credit. They hit all weekend. They don't have Bregman. I got to give the Red Sox credit. I got to give my not keeping their cool as the Yankees, because the Yankees, it's weird. It feels like they care more about the Mets now comparatively to the Red Sox at this point in time. Maybe it's just a testament to the Red Sox haven't been that good. The Mets are really good. But it seems like they care about the Dodgers and the Mets more so than they care about the Red Sox at just this point in the rivalry. I understand the Red Sox are the Red Sox. That's why you do it. But I was under the impression that
You're right, Colin.
it doesn't feel big.
It
did not feel big over the week. But maybe it's to the fact that there was just so much offense. But the Yankee fan cares more about beating the Mets and Juan Soto and beating Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. And they can't beat the Dodgers. But, with the Mets, the Red Sox haven't, probably a Red Sox problem. But I think it's just there hasn't been a lot of juice to that rivalry in the better part of, 7-8 years? So.
I'm with you as a Yankees fan, Colin, because if you gave me those three-game series, Dodgers, Mets, and Red Sox, and you told me I had to lose one of them, I would have picked the Red Sox series.
At this point in time, yeah.
It feels better to beat those teams, and it would have felt worse to lose to those teams than it would the Red Sox right now.
The young Yankee fan doesn't really care as much because they weren't around for, 03 and 04. They weren't around for Boone. They didn't see that. And because of that, when the Red Sox were great, the Yankees weren't. And they had their couple moments throughout the teens, the 2010s, but it was never that, collision course as it was in the early 2000s and before that. So that they didn't grow up with that, and because of that, I think that's why they more are tuned to the Mets and the Dodgers.
And you look at the names that are on the Boston Red Sox right now, it's like, okay, Devers, thorn in the side.
Yeah.
It's
a bunch of great young talent that hasn't made a name for themselves in the league.
Right.
So that's their problem.
81, 78, and 78. Those are that's the amount of games they've won over the last 3 years. 81, 78, and 78. In 2021, they won 90 games and went to the playoffs, but that seems like an eon ago. So I I don't want to say Colin kind of stole mine a little bit with the Yankees. I'll go a different direction. I'll go Tyrese Halliburton because I was watching the postgame coverage with Stephen A. Smith on the desk, and I kind of agree. Like, if I'm gonna label you a superstar, I'm gonna need more than 30 points in 2 games. I understand he did the job in game 1; it got done. But my big takeaway from the finals in that dreadful game yesterday, like you add the NBA fan, I think, and the maybe average NBA fan for that game too. And I think you lost that fan after that game. I've been completely wrong about the Pacers every step of the way, so don't hold me to this. I can't get a level on that team. But to me, it seems like the Pacers will be lucky to be within 10 points in the rest of the series. Maybe it completely flips over when it goes to Indiana. Maybe I'm not giving credit to home court. But I was on the impression, I told Colin on Friday, and turns out the kid was right, and fair play to him. I told Colin Friday, I know how this script goes. Indiana's probably going to go up 2-0, and they're going to win in 5 or 6 games. I'm very down on that team after last night's performance, and I don't know how you can't be. If Halliburton's going to score 31 points in 2 games, they're in a lot of trouble. I'm not asking them to, go out there and score 40 a game and do what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did, 38 a game, but I'm going to need something a little bit more from that cat.
Talked about it on Friday about how antsy I am for automatic balls and strikes, not only to be implemented on the 2 challenges a game, but I want them to take over 100%. And this weekend was another example of that because home plate umpire Derek Thomas did not keep his cool over the weekend. And whenever you know an umpire's name, it's never good. Famous umpires' names you know. Angel Hernandez, right?
Right.
And then probably in terms of sports fans remembering a name of an umpire, Jim Joyce for messing up Armando Galarraga's perfect game.
Joe West.
Joe West, Cowboy Joe West just for being overweight, honestly. Like that kind of got him a notoriety.
Well, him and Bumgarner's stare down
True.
Doesn't get better than that.
Good point. But Derek Thomas, the home plate umpire at the Cubs-Tigers game over the weekend, when second baseman Nico Horner, after a called strike that he did not agree with, he looks over at the home plate umpire and says, "You're having a really bad day." And what did that do? They got him ejected. So I'm going to take this segment literally. If you're going to say you didn't keep your cool as a home plate umpire, you really got to have thicker skin than that.
Yeah.
Worse things have been said to an umpire to warrant an ejection than you're having a really bad day.
How about the Tigers, too? Taking 2 out of 3 from the Cubbies. That was surprising to me on the other end. But, dude, umpires are always
They're
in
20
their...
games above 500.
Umpires are always in their feelings, it seems like.
Yeah.
Well,
it really is.
They got this weird complex to precedent set every step of the way.
Like Christian,
they're trying not to look small in front of the player, and they got to need to show that.
I want to agree with you, but I see too much of this. I see too much of umpires power tripping all the time like this.
Oh, so this is just adding another
tally? It's just another layer to umpires not having thick skin. I'll tell you what, baseball we missed in the 80s and early 90s. Oh, yeah. They had tough skin. I'm not denying that. But I think since like 2008, I feel like umpires have been throwing people out for absolutely nothing nowadays.
You're going to see it happen more and more because these umpires are afraid for their jobs. They're going to have the biggest Napoleon complex on earth because they will get publicly embarrassed when these challenges go through and they are wrong 7 times in a game and they retain the challenges, so they're proven wrong by the actual replay camera. It will make them very testy. When they have a chance to use their power, they will use it because the balls and strikes no longer completely your domain.
I go back to what I told you, Colin, of, oh, yeah, hey, man, you got to swing at the outside stuff today. He's going to call. Why? Why is he calling the outside stuff? I can't stand umpires. I'd do it tomorrow. I do the automated system tomorrow. I know it's taking jobs away. I know that there's a market for umpires out there. I appreciate all the umpires that do little league stuff. That takes a special kind of someone to be able to deal with parents and stuff like that. But these are professionals. All right, what do you mean swing at the outside stuff today? He's going to call it. It's a ball. Why are you calling it a ball a strike, Blue? Figure it out.
Hey, just so you know, these officials in the NFL, they're going to give you 105 yards on the football field this year today. I'm like, wait, what? I thought the strike zone is defined in the Major League Baseball rule book. It's not open for interpretation.
Christian, just make sure you swing at that outside stuff,
It's just the human error aspect.
He's going to call it.
That's what the traditionalists
say. I hate
it's the human error aspect.
Error is a bad thing.
It is, and I hate the whole,
but it makes baseball baseball.
He's got an expanded strike zone. Why? Why do you have an expanded strike zone, sir?
Yeah, but I agree with this. It's just the human error has been traditionally, baseball is the most historic game in terms of not changing over the course of a century and a half. It's just the most historic aspect of the game is having an umpire behind the catcher, determining who's going to, types of strike zones and types of batters. You're right. It differs per the player, but I think that adds, weirdly enough, yes, it's a major problem, but I do understand the idea of what it can add to baseball because it's that human error makes the game great. That human error is why, and think about the stadiums too. The stadiums are all different. They don't need to be regulated. It's because that's what baseball is. Every place is different. Every umpire is different. Every game is different. I think that adds to to combat the monotonous of the 162 game season. I think that is probably what
it's the traditional sense of it, but I say to hell with that, man. I'm tired of my team getting screwed over by balls and strikes. Happens way too much for my liking.
888-760-3776. John from Jensen Beach tuning in to Russo and Rizzo. John, what do you got for us?
Hey, how we doing today, fellas? So, on one of my many screens in recent nights, we have found ourselves watching some AAA baseball. All right?
All right.
And they're running the ABS system. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, outside ball gets called as a strike. The batter simply taps his helmet. They turn around. The screen goes to a graphic, and it just shows you whether the call's overturned and it's a ball, or if the call's upheld, it's a strike. And it takes literally 10 seconds, man. It takes less time to do that than it does for the pitch clock to wind down. It is beautiful. There is absolutely no reason that should not be deployed in Major League Baseball today.
John, with your 100 screens that you had on Sunday, did you watch the tennis?
No tennis for me.
My man,
did not
John.
watch the tennis.
John, I'm the same way. John, I
John,
got put
John,
on.
this is phony.
John,
John, this
I
is phony.
John, I got put on trial. Colin said I did professional malpractice
Coco
by
Gauff's
not
from
watching
25
that
minutes south. You
ridiculousness.
didn't even know she won the French Open.
Hey, look, in your spot, you're in the business. You're a sports broadcaster. I like to dabble a little bit of money on these games, and tennis is just not one.
John, you're missing the point, though, partner.
No, he's not. He's
you're
hitting
missing
the point. The point is you're a
partner.
sports
You're missing the point.
broadcaster.
Why?
He literally hit
why?
the point.
No. You're missing the point. You are an everyday listener who couldn't care less about tennis. Why does it matter that I listen to tennis when 3% of my listener audience cares about what happened on Sunday?
You can't make that generalization, number one. And
That's a good point.
Thank you.
You can't make that generalization because of one person, because you haven't spoken to enough of our listeners to make that generalization. That's number one. And number
you
two,
haven't spoken enough either to make it relevant, right?
It's a common sports topic. You want to be Mr. Oh, let's do what the listeners want. All of a sudden, after fighting tooth and nail the other way for the whole season, now I can't listen to you. This is where you're left and right.
Going to the Panthers game tonight, I'm going to take a census. Did you watch tennis over the weekend?
Did you watch tennis?
Ask them if they were at Panther games 5 years ago.
Did you watch the fair play to you, Kyle? Did you watch the 5.5 hour tennis match? Were you locked in there?
Were you locked in for the Masters?
hours?
Were you locked in for the Masters?
I was locked in for the Masters.
You were. Oh, so it can't.
I was locked in for the Masters.
So the
but
time should have nothing to do.
I like golf.
Okay.
I like golf. I appreciate golf. I don't like tennis, and I couldn't care less about watching it. I don't.
Did a bad job there. And he said it, and he was starting to nail it before you cut him off because it didn't contribute to your
cut
narrative.
him off because I go, Jay,
he says, you're a sports
Johnny,
broadcaster.
my guy.
He went on and said, you're a sports broadcaster.
Johnny, my guy.
You should probably be in tune to it.
Johnny, also, if we did 45 minutes on the tennis and not the whole Mike conundrum, John and Jensen would not be listening anymore. Because John and Jensen did not care about the tennis.
Correct. Well, this is where we're doing we talked about this because we were jumping around topics here. I understand, but he heard something about the umps. You think the umps would have come up without this topic, without this segment? Probably not. So there's something to be said, yes, about what you're saying, but you can say it on the flip.
Listen, we're going to be talking to Jonathan Zaslow here coming up, and I'm interested to see what Zaz has to say.
Zaslow.
He's an absolute professional, too. Like, he's been doing it longer. He's been doing it before we were even born. Okay, if I am at malpractice for this, from him in his eyes, maybe I got to reassess.
Zaslow's a great case because he both has the South Florida swing,
right,
and he also has the national swing that comes with the transplant residents of Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast.
Christian, should I be worried? Like, even if Zaslow tells me, yes, Riz, you are at malpractice, you should have watched that. I'm still probably not going to watch tennis other than if Colin goes, Mike, I want you to watch this. If Colin asks me specifically again to watch it, I will watch it because we're buddies. And I appreciate Colin. And I honest God, did not know he was going to react the way he did with me not watching the tennis.
Because you were wrong.
I don't think I was wrong, but I do it. I do it for you.
Jury's out.
I think you were wrong.
I do it for you.
I don't like that you're calling the job requirements into things when Mike's boss does not think Mike's wrong.
Correct. Brian
so,
Rowitz.
As a sports fan, what are we trying to do here? what are we trying to do here? We're trying to be sports broadcasters. We're aspiring, right?
Listen,
in my opinion,
no, we're not. We're doing it right now.
An obligation of that, in my opinion, is you got to be a sports fan. You got to care about, and that's a variety of different sports. I'm not a huge soccer fan. I get that. I'm not a huge cricket fan.
Here's the thing, though. How I would have approached this.
You would not turn a cricket match on.
Probably not.
I would not turn a cricket match on either. Here's the difference. Colin, instead of if you say if tables were flipped and you didn't watch the soccer, I wouldn't shame you. I would have just explained what happened and we would have moved on.
If I didn't watch a World Cup match,
I wouldn't shame you because you're not a soccer guy. You're not a soccer guy.
The thing is, that wouldn't happen. I do watch World Cup. That's.
But
it's a huge. If I missed Argentina France, I remember where I was for that. If I missed Argentina France, and I know that's a World Cup. It's hard to compare. I get 1 billion people watch that. I totally get that. But just for the sake of the argument, if I missed that. After, especially you tell, at the halfway point, this is the best match I've ever seen.
I wouldn't call broadcasting malpractice, though. That hurt me a bit. A bit.
Learn from it.
That hurt me a bit.
Learn. We'll do a little 5 at 5 as we enter into the second hour. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a good karma brands radio station.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or BradleyAir.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
It's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and ESPN 106.3 is your home for the Stanley Cup Final. The Panthers, the Oilers, live, streaming everywhere, and on the air, Lord Stanley lives here. Tonight, it's Game 3. We're live in Sunrise at 7:30 here on ESPN 106.3.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast, professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
You know, if you have a bike accident, truck accident, car accident, you fall down the stairs, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine should be your first call at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys because they're the type to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Let's call it like we see it. They're the best in the business for a reason. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. If you missed any of the program today, go listen back on Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Or go watch back on our socials at ESPN West Palm on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/X. Christian Cat is our producer behind the glass today at the City Place Studios. Hello, Christian. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I had a great weekend that involved zero tennis.
Right.
A weekend well served. Got all 48 of those hours.
Uninformed.
You kidding me?
Uninformed.
Money in the bank. We had the RBC Canadian Open. Went to 4 playoff holes. Honestly, probably the greatest Canadian golf tournament of 2025.
Good finish.
Not really.
It was interesting.
It was one good shot.
No big players, though. Yeah. Larry had a great round.
The problem was, not to get too in the weeds, but it's this par 5 hole, and these guys can't actually hit it far enough to go for it on the par 5s. So it was a layup fest until eventually they moved the hole location.
Right.
So that it was easier for the golfers to end this thing.
At a certain point, the broadcast turned into next week. So, and I hate when they do that, when there's all right, well, he's just making sure that he could do this for next week. That's when you sort of tune out. And they did that quite a bit in yesterday's.
Trevor Immelman was ripping them to shreds. He was like, how do you leave that short? What you do with your buddies when you're playing a money game on the weekend. You don't often hear their broadcasters say that to a professional golfer who, trust me, he didn't want to leave it short. He would have liked to make the putt.
Yeah, they just started previewing the U.S. Open by the end of the last round.
Are you still steaming mad at me about the French Open?
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Okay.
Let's bounce around a little bit. Let's do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for The 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Dallas Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd and the New York Knicks, who fired their head coach Tom Thibodeau after 5 seasons last week, reportedly have mutual intrigue regarding the Knicks' open head coaching job. If you're Jason Kidd, are you leaving the Mavericks for the Knicks this offseason?
I have no idea what he's thinking here. If only he wants to escape the Western Conference. But you get the number 1 pick sitting there. You're going to have Kyrie Irving back, February, around All-Star break. You got Anthony Davis. You've had good success there. The owners like you. The fans like you. I don't understand what the thought process is.
Money. It's got to be, right?
I don't think so.
It's got to be.
I don't think so.
It's
the prestige of the Knicks and the Eastern Conference.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Kyle, but I think money would probably be the only thing because, to Colin's point, flag, I think, is going to be the next big thing in the NBA. You have arguably one of the better rosters in the Western Conference. You shouldn't leave, but I don't know. And by the way, if I can't quickly, the Knicks don't have a plan. They didn't have a plan. They fired Thibodeau because
their plan might have been Kidd. If there's something to this, their plan might have been Kidd.
They fired Thibodeau, I think, because of public pressure about he can't get it done when it counts. Listen, I'm not saying there's nothing there, but I thought Tibbs earned himself that second.
Well, it's also all these reports are coming out about the exit interviews, and apparently some people were not happy about Jalen Brunson's father in regard to the team and whether who trusted who. And I don't know if there's any truth to that, but, all this stuff starts coming out the second he's fired. But if I'm Kidd, I don't know what you're thinking there. You get the number 1 pick sitting there ready to fall in your lap, and you don't even know what the Knicks roster is going to look like. I wouldn't take the risk.
Right, and it's crazy we're even having this conversation because if the Mavericks don't have the number 1 pick, we're not having this conversation. It's, Kidd, get the hell out of Dodge. Terrible owners. They got rid of Luka Doncic without telling anybody. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if it wasn't for Cooper Flag.
Number 2.
Let's stay in the NBA because there was an NBA Finals game last night, and after the first quarter, it was kind of all Oklahoma City. Here is Pacers coach Rick Carlisle on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai, you can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow. For the next game. I mean, the guy's going to score. We got to find ways to make it as tough as possible on him.
Are you already writing the Pacers off, even though they did what they had to do in stealing 1 game on the road?
Well, what they should do is do the Jokic treatment. All right, Jokic can get... This is how the T-Wolves beat them last year. Let Jokic get his 30 or 35, and Jokic can score more than Gilgeous-Alexander on a great night. He can put up 50 or 60. Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't do that. All right, let Gilgeous-Alexander get his 35, but nullify his teammates. Don't let the Jalen Williams or the Chet Holmgrens of the world go for 25 points. Don't let Alex Caruso get 27 points. 22 points, I think he had last night. Don't let those guys kill you, and almost let Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do what he does, get into the lane, the whole thing. And if you nullify everything else, maybe you have a better chance.
I want you guys to hold me accountable. Christian and Colin, you guys hold me accountable on something. I'm not allowed to bet on the Pacers. I'm not allowed to make a prediction on the Pacers.
Yeah, you were ready to advance them to the Larry O'Brien ceremony right after they won Game 1.
I said Friday, all right, if we're going to hold each other accountable on this show, I said Friday that the Pacers, I've seen this. They've done it 3 times already. They're going to go up 2-0, and they're going to win in 5 or 6 games. That clearly didn't happen. I'm down on this team, guys. And listen, if I'm not allowed to be because of that prediction, I understand. I'm really down on this. After that game, guys, 7.5 quarters, arguably 7 and 3 quarters. Okay, Oklahoma City has been the better team, and it's been double-digit deficit after double-digit deficit. I'm going to sit here and say I don't see how Indiana gets another win. Maybe I'm downplaying
You were ready to call it Indiana in 5. You said Indiana in 5 on Friday, and now you're going Oklahoma City in 5?
And maybe to Colin's point on this, I probably should have watched the tennis, because that was painful. That was painful watching that game. Halliburton has been terrible, and the conversation going into the series was, Halliburton doesn't have to score 25 a game for them to win. I think it's turning into that he does. Gilgeous-Alexander played an incredible game. I know other role players stepped up and whatnot, but 38 points in Game 1 and then that performance last night, guy's the MVP from everything I've watched in that. The Thunder have dominated this series for 7.5 quarters. How is it going to be different once it goes to Indiana? We'll see.
Number 3.
Let's go to some football because the big news last week was Aaron Rodgers finally ending the waiting game. Rodgers signed with the Steelers. So Jordan Love spoke with ESPN Madison's Jason Wild from Wild and Tausch.
Wildy and Tausch.
Wildy. Thank you. You know him?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Kyle worked in ESPN Madison.
I do know him.
Tell him I didn't get that wrong.
That's fine. I don't think he'd care.
Jason Wildy spoke with Jordan
Love.
Oh, wait. Did I get it wrong again?
No. He's
Wildy.
messy.
I said Wildy.
Okay, I thought I said
You're
Wildy
good.
incorrectly.
You're good, bro.
What did Jordan Love say?
He says, it's going to be fun. I'm excited to play Aaron Rodgers when they match up in Week 8. Love said, I can't wait to be on different sides, meeting up, and we'll talk pregame, things like that, and hopefully we can exchange jerseys after. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to exchange jerseys with Jordan Love?
All signs point to them having a pretty good relationship. I think, maybe there was a little bit of animosity when he first was drafted, but Love kept his mouth shut. Love let Aaron Rodgers do his thing. Got another MVP afterward. I think that's probably a pretty amicable relationship. Rodgers is also at the point of his career where he's kind of just going for it. I don't think he necessarily holds the grudges. The guys from the thick of his career that he went head-to-head with are not necessarily there anymore. So, I think they are going to have a pretty good relationship once they finally meet up again.
I'm fine with this. You know, I completely think that jersey swap is in order. I'm not a jersey swap guy, but the players love it, so, let them have it. Outside of that, quickly, it's got me thinking, who's going to be the better team next year, Pittsburgh or the Packers? I think that's
Packers.
Okay.
Better team.
Better
as
team.
In if they
Record.
play the playoffs on a neutral field, who'd you pick? Record.
Let's make this easy. Record. Regular season record.
Okay.
I say Pittsburgh.
What do you think the number? What do you think the number is for the Packers then?
9, 8, 9. I'm not a Packer. I'm not a Jordan Love believer.
I think Detroit got worse. I think Minnesota got worse. I think the Bears have more question marks than guarantees.
I think the Bears are going to be better. I think Minnesota's still a very tough out.
Minnesota's not going to be 14 wins.
They're not going to be 14 wins, but it's still going to be a tough out. This is a Green Bay Packer team that won, one game in the division last year?
Right. And they still won, 10 games?
And they just lost Jair Alexander? How are they better?
They wanted him out for a while. He doesn't play. He's missed 20 games in 2 seasons.
I understand it. Tell me how they're better. All right, so all those teams got worse. Fair. How are they better, though?
They finally got another piece on offense, which they desperately needed. They got a great coach. They got basically everybody returning defensively. Other than Alexander, who never plays, I don't think. I think that they have less turnover than the rest of the division combined.
Apologies. The piece you're talking about, the rookie receivers,
Matthew Golden,
rookie receiver
kid from Texas.
Okay.
Yes, they got him coming back, and defense. They lost their defensive coordinator or their linebacker coach, but that's
And listen, I
that's
understand.
a team that has less turnover than the rest of the division combined.
I'm in the minority on this. I understand. I just think they prematurely offered Jordan Love money, and I think they played lousy in the division last year. And I don't think the steps back, 14 games is going to be out of the situation for Minnesota, but they could easily be a good team within that division and a tough out. The Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell can easily still be a tough out within that division. So that's why I bring it up. I tend to lean more towards the Steelers, and I understand that I'm in the minority.
I mean, you think they got that much worse? What, they won 11 games last year? They won 11 games. I think it was 11 games. They won 11-6 because that was 3 teams above the 10-win mark. They went 11-6 last year, and they got everybody coming back, and the rest of the division got worse. Because remember, they beat everybody else. They had an easy schedule. They beat everybody, and they have another easy schedule this year because of where they've placed in the division. They're going to have a third-place NFC schedule, which is going to make a difference.
I just think it's fair. I think the question is fair. I think they're both kind of on that same level. Probably not going to their respectable championship games in their conference, and I think they're going to be floating around 8 to 10 wins.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you're dead on about is Jordan Love will determine the success of that team. But the thing is, he also missed 4 games last year, and they were still pretty good with Malik Willis.
He did.
He didn't have a tough schedule, but they still
got hurt in that Brazil game.
Yeah, he got hurt in the first game of the season, and he was sort of banged up the rest of the year. I agreed. Is it a little premature to give him all that money? Absolutely, but that's the bet they make when they draft him and sit him. Now, he will be the determining factor of whether they're any good. I don't think Jair Alexander is as big of a miss as people want to put out because they never have him. He doesn't play. He's hurt every game. So, do they not? They have corner depth? Not really, but I think they'd be able to figure that out because they've been figuring it out for years on years now with no Jair.
Number 4.
Let's go to Major League Baseball, where numbers are looking good. Talking about ratings, people, more people are watching baseball than maybe in the past decade. ESPN's baseball ratings up 22%. TBS and Fox, 16 and 10% lifts. Of course, game attendance was up last year and is expected to surpass that last year. Is it broadcast gimmicks like this from ESPN last night, where they mic'd up Jazz Chisholm and interviewed him while play was in session?
I think we're looking at... 1 second.
Damn it! You might have heard Jazz Chisholm say damn it because he, yes, had a throwing error while being mic'd up. I'd say all of that to say this. Do you like on-field, in-action player interviews in baseball?
That's the dumbest thing. And there's your example. Why does nobody care about that? Nobody cares. Nobody needs to hear from Jazz Chisholm because it's distracting to the players. So now I'm sure Jazz Chisholm's never going to do an in-game interview again, because whether that was because of the interview or not, or because he stinks in the field, it remains to be seen. But the fact is, he was during an interview in the middle of an answer when he had to make that play. They shouldn't do this. They never should have done this. It doesn't add anything to the game. I could listen to the managers in the middle of it. I can't necessarily do the players when they're in the middle of play. That's the dumbest thing in the world. We've been saying it for weeks.
I have a whole list of this stuff that I hate, Christian. You ready?
All right.
All right. So I can't stand that. I'm with Colin. That's the worst one. That's the biggest waste of time. These guys, this is their profession. They're trying to focus, and you got, Joe Schmo talking in his ear. Okay, moving on to the next couple ones. College football. The 30-second, hey, before kickoff, let's go interview these guys before the college football playoff. They need to get rid of that. They need to get rid of in the NBA and in college basketball, the in-time-out interview. Go talk to your team. Go figure out the X's and O's you wanted to figure out in the timeout instead of having no names, please, assistant coach explain everything.
It's the biggest chore in sports.
It is. That's 3. Damn it, I had a 4th and I can't remember. I think it has something to do with the NFL. Regardless, Christian, I have a long, as you can tell, laundry list of this stuff that I think is an absolute waste of time. This is why we talk to them post-game. Answer all these questions in the post-game. They didn't do this in the 90s when it was newspaper and you know what I mean? I don't need all this crap. Give me the damn game with Buck and Aikman on the call, and I'm completely fine.
I do like weirdly enough, if there's one silver lining, I do think, if done right, and not all these sideline reporters are that good, but if done right, the halftime coach interviews, I do think add a bit of context to the game if they ask the right question.
I'm fine with that because there's no playing.
They're running in anyway.
Exactly. They're going into the tunnel. I could leave with it. Sorry.
Number 5.
Thabo Sebalosha. Ariana Sabalenka had this to say after she beat Delray Beach, or she lost to Delray Beach's very own Coco Gauff.
Tried to add Thabo Sebalosha to threw your whole thing off.
This is what Sabalenka had to say after losing to the 22-year-old.
Then in the final, it was really, honestly, the worst tennis I played in the last, I don't know how many months. And the conditions were terrible, and she simply was better in these conditions than me. And I think it was the worst final I ever played. I was just making unforced errors. I don't know, I have to check the statistics. I think she won the match not because she played incredible, just because I made all of those mistakes.
No credit goes to Coco. It was all because Ariana didn't show up to play that day. Do you have a problem with Sabalenka's comments at the French Open?
Major problems. What is she thinking? What type of sore loser do you have to be to kind of try to demonize the performance that Gauff put on? Gauff would play better than Gauff was great in the game. And yet you were complaining left and right. She's the grunts. Oh, my God. She is insufferable in the middle of a match. Insufferable. And then she goes that, and you're making yourself look bad. Just lose with grace. I don't understand that. She's playing on the same court you are. The same court. Acting like everybody's out to get you. Oh, God. You can't lose like that.
Sore loser, right? I mean, it could be dumbed down to that. And I feel like I can't have an opinion on this for everything that we've been talking about when it comes to tennis. I don't want to make Colin upset, by having an opinion on tennis.
You could say, this is a post-game comment.
It's a sore loser. It's as easy as that. It's a sore loser.
No, they're not a sore loser. That's someone that's confident in what they do, and they know they would have won that match if they had their A game.
You know what I didn't like? I didn't like her saying
bleep.
Iga Swiatek, who is the world number one, who Sabalenka beat in the semifinal. She also went on to add on in the post-match presser, saying if Swiatek played in this, Swiatek would have beaten Coco today. What is your reasoning for adding something like that?
And then she also talked about how the court conditions, is that like a snow game in football?
Well, the clay is the hardest court to play on, the hardest court for players to adjust on because it's just slippery. That's it. And it was slippery and it was windy.
So like a snow game. So if the Rams beat the Eagles last year, we would say, the Rams only beat the Eagles because it was a snow game.
Right. The Rams, the team that plays in a dome in Los Angeles. And then you got Jalen Hurts. And it's a good example because then it's Jalen Hurts post-game saying, well, if we didn't have the conditions, it would have been great. Jalen, you guys play outdoors. Who
was unreal on clay? Nadal?
Nadal.
He was king of the clay.
Nadal. Won 14 French Opens. Never played in a fifth set. He won the tournament 4 times.
And never went to a fifth and decisive set?
Never. Not in a final. That's how good he was.
Wow.
2004 to basically 2022, 2023, nobody ever beat him. He was 118-4 in that tournament. 118-4. Bizarre. Nobody's dominant like him on clay. We got to roll on here. We got to bring in good friend of program, Jonathan Zazzo, the Zazzo Show 2.0. Coming up on the flip side, stick around for it on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. 2 of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
They were right. It could have waited. I can't believe it happened to me. Reaching to check my phone. Now my family has to hear that I'm never coming home again.
Officer?
I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
Every day, 9 people on Florida roadways don't make it home. I was one of the people that didn't make it home.
Ride with Do Not Disturb. Every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach. Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Something amazing is happening. Technology is working harder, faster, and more reliably. It's delivering results that work. But who makes technology work? CDW. We're a full-service technology solutions provider, advising our clients and designing customized solutions so they can reach their goals and do amazing things. CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
I know you be here.
that from here and there, but please trust and believe, little mama. I see you gon' ride for me, so I'ma die for you. Is you with me?
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Well, if you got into the French Open yesterday, if you got into the Stanley Cup tonight, you get the NBA Finals rolling on, and a little MLB action, U.S. Open this weekend. Sprinkle some action on it with our pals over at Hard Rock Bet. Go download the app today on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started. Earlier this month on the MLB side, one bettor turned a $50 home run parlay into $35,000. Did that last month. You can swing for the fences just like him over on Hard Rock Bet. And the best part is you get $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not hit, which can be a parlay, a prop, the over, whatever you like to bet, any game you choose. And you can try the battle of the bets. Turn as little as $1 into a big-time payday. And if you win one side or the other, over or under, picking a score line, that's what they have on. They preset the line, so you don't even have to make much of a decision. If you win, you get part of the big pot, which is over $250,000 in bonus bets every week, split amongst the people that win. That's what they do on Hard Rock Bet on the Battle of the Bets. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in for the wager. Terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT IT. Welcoming in good friend of program. Let's get to it. The voice of the 305, Mr. Jonathan Zaza.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
Hey, you could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills offense keep up with the Dolphins offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zaslow is the voice of the 305.
We got Game 3 of the Stanley Cup tonight. First game in Sunrise, 8 p.m. TNT. Jonathan Zazo, welcome into the program. What do you got for us? Welcome in.
My man, Zaz.
I'm feeling great. I am very excited. A little bit nervous. The excitement's more than the nerves tonight. I am very much looking forward to this evening. How are you guys?
Great. I don't think you could draw up a better start to a Stanley Cup series just in the pure entertainment aspect. The back and forth. You don't necessarily know who's going to take it. It's not like one side is dominating each. Edmonton it's gotten their plenty fair share of offense, but Florida's been able to kind of win down the stretch, especially in Game 2. I mean, this has been probably as good as you could possibly draw up.
It's funny because after Game 2, and obviously it was one of the great, sports fan experiences of my life, that Game 2 win. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I think we've watched a classic Stanley Cup final game, that Game 2. But look, I'm biased, so I'm coming from a place where my team just won, and there's a lot of emotion going on here. But I heard experts, the folks at ESPN and NHL on TNT, and like real hockey people saying that was a classic Stanley Cup final game, and that the first two games of this series have been a classic start to a Stanley Cup final. So I was glad to hear that it's not just me and my emotional bias. This has been a tremendous series so far.
Now, Zaz, I got to check in on the rumors. I heard some rumblings that you pulled the family home on the family vacation early.
That's not a rumor. That's the truth.
Okay, so please explain to us what happened.
Well, listen, I was in North Carolina for the last week. We were in a cabin enjoying I'm an outdoorsman, all right?
Yeah.
We're enjoying the outdoors. We're having a great time there. Me, my wife, my two teenage boys. We watched the game on Wednesday there from the cabin. We know the way that went. I was miserable afterward. I couldn't sleep. I was miserable the next morning when I woke up. We were supposed to drive to Charleston, South Carolina to spend the next couple days there. I said, we're coming home. We're getting in the car. It's done. We don't need to stop in Charleston. We're going home. And my boys, they saw I was serious, and they were in on it too. We had to get back to the Zaslow Mansion. We won a Stanley Cup watching the games here at the Zaslow Mansion. We had to get home, vacation, over, time to get to where we need to be. And look, I'm just doing my part, guys.
Zaz, quickly, how did that get past your wife? How were you able to swing that with your wife?
She was able to see the look in my eyes. I was leading the way, all right? And this time of year, we all have to do our part. So it's like we are going straight home. We drove all the way through. I won't confirm or deny that it was on one tank of gas in 12 hours. That's a long time. Again, won't confirm or deny that. But we drove the entire day. Had to get back.
Why are you scheduling a vacation during the Stanley Cup final?
Well, look, this vacation was scheduled months ago.
Well, hold on. The Panthers we knew were going to be great.
Right, but see, we've had this conversation before, right, where we know when the national championship is. We know when the Super Bowl is. We don't know the teams that are necessarily going to be in the game or what have you. So are we supposed to not go on vacation when my boys have that week off in between school and then camp? Like, we got a vacation. Their TV's on the vacation. I watched the game. It's not like I missed the game. I was watching there, but it's like, nah, this is not working. And we were already there for the week. It's time to come home. We got to get back and take care of business.
So we got to go on vacation until we're down 0-1. Then this vacation is over.
I didn't feel the vibes. It wasn't good vibes after that game one. I got to get home. My team needed me.
Wow.
Love that, Zaz.
Wow. And
Love
you were
that,
the
Zaz.
Are you going to the game tonight?
No. I'm going to do, we're doing a pregame here, right here, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on ESPN 106.3. That's the Tullamore Dew is going to present that for us. So I'm excited for that. So I'll do 6 to 7:30. And
you're not going to go to the game after that, okay?
Rather than rush to the game, I'm going to get all out of whack if I'm rushing and I'm trying to beat the traffic, and then I'm going to get anxiety, and I want to watch with my boys. So the three of us, we're going to watch right here in the Zaslow
He already explained to you that they won a championship in the Zaslow family mansion. They're not
that's where we
leaving the confines of the Zaslow family mansion during the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I'm good with watching it here. Would I want to go to the game? Yeah, if I could bring my boys with me. We watch it together as a family.
I love that, Zaz. It's good by you, brother.
Interesting. All right, so let's look ahead into Game 3 tonight. I think that this has been a neck, and even the players have said it, neck and neck the whole way.
Yeah.
This could have easily been 2-0 side. This has been as close of a series as you possibly can. Are your feelings on Edmonton as an opponent here, with especially the amount of offense that they've been able to generate? Are you more nervous now, or you've calmed down a little bit now that you sort of eliminated home ice?
Oh, well, the home ice part doesn't matter to me. I
think any team could take any game.
The home ice doesn't matter. I have calmed down. The way I felt after game one and the way I feel now. I feel really good right now. Doesn't have anything to do with home ice, but I'm scared to death of McDavid. That's not going to change. And he's been great these first couple of games, and now Draisaitl's been really good also. Just every time McDavid is on the ice, which is, between 26, 28 minutes a game, I got to know where he is. I'm following him on the ice even when he doesn't have the puck. I'm scared to death of him. I've never been scared of a hockey player like that. And it's probably top 3 for me all-time guys I'm scared of my team going against in any sport. So I feel good about the Panthers, but I'm scared to death of McDavid.
How big of a game was it for Marchand to have at that moment?
I think it was the greatest individual performance in Panther history.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Not only is it 2 goals in you want to call it must-win, gotta-have-it game, whatever you want to call it, but a shorthanded goal, and then the breakaway overtime winner in a game they had to have. I think it was the greatest individual performance in Panther history.
And both goals were very similar, Zaz.
Yeah.
To the sense of being one-on-one, being able to kind of fake out the keep. I was really impressed.
Just the anticipation from him as well, because it's not like, okay, the Panthers, they got the puck and then he broke out. No, he saw the play developing, so he took off, and then his line mate gets possession and is able to find him. Just that's incredible hockey intelligence.
This is where you praise the Panthers for still being aggressive throughout the season in terms of acquiring different assets, because talking about assets in terms of not even on your first or second, that is as big of an asset as you could possibly find. A top playoff performer that the Stanley Cup playoffs has ever seen.
And he's been phenomenal this entire postseason.
He's a playoff riser. That's what he is.
He is a big-time player, and like I said, I'm not being hyperbolic. I think it was the biggest individual performance in Panther history.
All right, Zaz, I want to switch gears here a little bit. Did you watch any of the tennis yesterday? Of the French Open, yes.
I didn't watch it, but I know what happened.
I do too.
I'm involved. I got it. I'm into it. I couldn't get up. sometimes I
You
will
were not.
get up.
What do you mean you were into it? Did you watch it? You didn't watch it though.
No,
right?
like I'm paying attention. Like I'm into it as in I'm paying attention to it. But
Okay.
I couldn't get up early enough yesterday. I just, we were doing a little boozing Saturday night. I gotta say.
Absolutely.
The match
Zaz,
ended at
fair play,
3.
Zaz.
The match
My
ended
guy.
at 3 p.m.
I know.
For shaming Zaz for not watching 5.5
Yeah, I'm not
hours.
turning
Come
it on
on.
in the 5th set tiebreak, at 2:30 p.m. Like, either I'm watching or I'm not, and I didn't watch it.
Mike did not watch it, and here's the thing: you were, in a drunken slumber.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
But I texted Rizzo. I don't know, maybe halfway through the third set, and I said, "Mike, you got it." To both Christian, Mike, and our content director, Brian Rhodes, I think you guys got to turn this on. This is an unbelievable match. This is as good as tennis gets right now. I don't think I've watched a match as fun as this.
Yeah.
And I asked him to watch it, and not a soul tuned in, not for 1 second. And I had a problem with that. I thought that was malpractice as a radio host, especially when I asked, because that means I want to talk about it. We're co-hosts.
Right.
And Mike did not turn it on. And Mike was not curing cancer in the alternative. He was not doing that.
Zaz, let me run through my schedule. My Sundays. Can I run through my Sunday schedule real quick? So, first off, I didn't think tennis and the French Open was like, in order to do my job, I got to be in the know on it. Maybe
It's
that's
not
on me.
normally a talk radio topic.
Maybe that's on me. But I know what happened. As much as Colin does so I wake up at about 9, Zaz.
Mm-hmm.
I stroll over to my setup with my gaming setup, my monitors and whatnot. Right. I throw the TV on. Want something on in the background. Last Dance is on ESPN 2. I love Michael Jordan. I want to watch The Last Dance. I watched the last 6 episodes of The Last Dance while playing video games with my buddies grinding towards a gun that we all wanted on Destiny 2.
And this was after Colin asked
this
you to
was
put on
after
the
he
French
asked
Open.
me to put it on.
This is
I got Mike, I can't side
Okay,
with
all
you.
right, but let me continue
Bad,
on.
terrible job here. Acting
Zaz,
like he's he's putting together cars, saving
Zaz,
the
let
city.
me continue on.
Oh, my God.
Zaz, let me continue on with my day.
Go
All
on.
right. The game I'm playing, none of you guys know what Destiny 2 is. We're doing a raid. You need 6 players.
Oh,
I told my buddies.
Mike, turn on the tennis.
Told my buddies, I said, listen, we're going to be all locked in. We all planned for time to do this. The Destiny raid ends. We beat it. Zaz, I gotta go work out.
But you got a second TV there, right?
Zaz, I had
got
5
like 9
monitors.
TVs.
Zaz, I had 5 monitors.
If
All right.
your partner asked you to put on the tennis, put on the tennis.
All right, hang on. Let me keep going with my day, though. Zaz, I'm down like 15 pounds. I'm getting back into fighting shape. I had a girl tell me I was fat the whole 9 yards.
This has nothing to do with anything.
All right,
this has nothing to do with anything.
So hang on. Can I finish my day? I said I wanted to tell Zaz my day. I go to the gym. I'm in a great mood right now. Go to the gym. Zaz, the gym's right by the pool. Couple of hot babes at the pool.
Okay.
I dabble on over. I go to the pool. I start talking to some girls at the pool. Next thing I know, it's 2 o'clock. I get back. I throw on some baseball before the Nations League Cup starts.
The tennis is still on. You put baseball on.
Tennis is still on. Put baseball on. Absolutely. Put the baseball on.
It's Sunday in June.
And then the thing that I'm locked into the most at that time, obviously showered and whatnot. I was discussing from the gym and the pool. Shower, watch a little baseball. Then I tune into the pregame of Nations League. We got hardware on the line on the soccer side. Portugal and Spain. Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest soccer player of all time, had a volley goal which sent it to PKs. Portugal beats Spain, the world number 1 in PKs. Then, Zaz, I go down to Boca and celebrate my Uncle Mark's 60th birthday.
Is the tennis still on at this point?
Tennis was not on at that point.
Tennis finished at 3.
But at the same time, Zaz, Last Dance, little video games, gym, hot babes at the pool, more sports, baseball, and Portugal and Ronaldo winning some silverware. Cristiano's my favorite player.
I mean,
and then Uncle Mark's birthday, and then Uncle Mark's birthday in Boca.
The biggest happy birthday, Uncle Mark. The biggest problem I have here with this is having the Last Dance on instead of the tennis. That come on.
Says I don't care. I got to be completely transparent.
You've seen the Last Dance,
but it's it's amazing when it's on. You got to watch it.
Zaz, you know that this is malpractice.
Zaz, when it's on, you got to watch it.
This
Now,
is a joke.
I did not expect Colin to say I didn't do my job as a radio show host.
You didn't. That's period.
That hurt. And number 2, I'll watch something. Whenever Colin tells me to watch something, you best believe it could be on ESPN 8 The Ocho. I'm going to watch it.
I'm
going to watch it.
You should have put it on because your partner wanted to be able to have a back and forth with you.
Listen. Lesson learned. It says you're never too old to learn. All right. I will say this. It cut me deep when Colin said I'm 30 years old and I need to turn on.
Which cut you deeper? The girl saying you were fat or Colin saying you let him down?
Probably the girl saying I'm fat. Granted, this was a couple of months ago and I'm back into fighting form now. So, But at the same time, Zaz, I'm going to watch whatever the hell Colin Russo tells you to watch.
It was the talk of the sports world yesterday, and I didn't tell you in the last 5 minutes. I told you with 2 hours to go, and you didn't turn it on. and you went to the gym instead. You did a bad job here. You did a bad job.
I'm not on your side, Mike, but as long as you're learning, you learn from your mistakes.
Not even if
better.
Zaz, not even if I got a number at the pool.
Did you get a number at the pool?
I got a number at the pool.
Oh, how about that?
No,
not worth it.
Not worth it.
Zaz, this is an 8-minute endeavor.
We're getting back in the stride. Zaz, I'm getting back in the stride. You know what? I told Kyle.
What are you trying to argue here? That playing video games with your friends, that watching The Last Dance, which came out 5 years ago.
COVID came out 5 years ago.
It came out to COVID.
Best documentary ever.
Doesn't
Best
matter.
documentary
and
ever.
You got a historic sporting event going on at the moment. It's the second best sporting event I've watched all year,
your
minus the
partner asked you
Masters
to put it on.
final round. And I told you, I warned you. I'm like, yo, there's something big going on right now. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And it was right when Alcaraz got back from the 3 championship points down. I texted, and you guys didn't do it.
Zaz, I've been in the slump on that side of the ball lately. I took a chance.
I don't think it has anything to do with the tennis, which was 5.5 hours. Okay, you didn't spend 5.5 hours talking.
So,
to this. If it took you 5.5 hours to get a number, what are we talking about?
It didn't take 5.5 hours to get the number, but at the same time, I was at the pool for an hour and a half when I could have been watching the tennis match
or the baseball. Sunday in June, there is
right.
You want to talk about meeting? There's nothing
Zaz,
meaningful going on.
We're watching baseball. Come on,
Zaz. Guards were playing the Astros. Guards are reeling. They needed that game.
You're not selling anybody here. No, you're not.
Zaz, they needed the game. They were about to get swept at home. They needed the game.
But Mike, you know you're wrong.
I'm a Cleveland guy.
Mike, you know you're wrong.
I had to watch the Guards.
No one's on your side here, Mike.
Zaz, where can people tune into you if they want to listen to more?
Well, first of all, tonight, all right, right after you guys at 6 p.m., all right, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to make a cup of coffee. We'll be back on here in 15 minutes. I'm going to take you up until 7:30 as Tullamore Dew is presenting Zaslow Show 2.0 tonight as we will get you ready for the Panthers. And, of course, every weekday, Zaslow Show 2.0 podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and that's presented by Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. If you're involved in any kind of an accident, you're dealing with a personal injury, hit and run, motorcycle, slip and fall, boating accident, they will get you the compensation you deserve. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733.
Zaz, appreciate it as always. Enjoy the game tonight, all right? We'll talk next week.
Go Panthers, Zaz.
Yep, see you guys.
Jonathan Zaslow, of course, Russo and Rizzo. We got to roll on here, but first, the Boca Bowl announced their official date coming up for December. Mike can tell you about it.
The 12th annual Boca Bowl, folks, is going to be Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU Stadium. The game will be airing on ESPN. 2 of the biggest and best teams from the group of 5 will battle it out and shoot their shot at the title. More information at BocaRatonBowl.com. It's BocaRatonBowl.com. Follow along on Twitter at Boca Bowl and Facebook.com/Boca Bowl for more updates. The 2025 Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd at FAU Stadium.
We got to do a little Let's Go streaking. On the flip side, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
The playoffs are heating up. but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Big news, West Palm Beach! Greenway Kia is rolling out the red carpet for our grand reopening, and you're invited! Right now, drive home in a new 2024 Kia Telluride, luxury, performance, and value, starting at just $38,998. No tariffs, just huge savings. Get incentives up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias. Got a trade-in? We need it. Any make, any model, any condition. We'll give you up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book value towards the purchase of any red tag Kia in stock. Worried about credit? Don't be. If you got a job bringing home $350 a week, we want to improve your credit today. So what are you waiting for? Come celebrate our grand reopening at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800 New Kias or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991, MSRP $45,235, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinance. Offers don't combine.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Appreciate Jonathan Zazzo for giving us a little time there on the previous side. If you missed any of that, of course, go to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, where you get your podcasts, all those great places. It's Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catt. We're on ESPN 106.3. It's time for us to make a couple picks against the spread. Let's have some fun. Let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure.
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run. 22 consecutive wins.
And fade the cooler.
Everything you touch turns to mush. People go to the racetrack and the teller will give him his tickets already ripped up.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
All right, let's go streak with Hard Rock Bet. We're going to go around the table a bit, make a pick against the spread. I am L1. L1, lost Djokovic, in trouble there. But now I got to respond here with a victory. I guess I'll start things off. You know who I like tonight? I haven't done a ton on it, but I watched a bit over the weekend, quite a bit actually. Is College World Series, the Super Regionals. Murray State tonight is in a deciding for the last spot of the College World Series. Murray State scored about 20 runs yesterday against Duke. They're plus 180 to win. It's plus two and a half runs is the minus 115. I don't like that, but what I do like is I like rooting for offense. The over-under is 16 and a half runs.
In college baseball, it's always a fun bet.
16 and a half. These guys are, putting these relievers, the freshmen, in a tight spot when all their guys went yesterday. Sign me up. Give me the over 16 and a half runs on that Murray State game.
As the great Bing Crosby once said, something's got to give, something's got to give. I'm going under. I talked about, I was, by the way, under in the Stanley Cup. It's 6.5. I was talking with Colin. Both games have gone right at 7. Both games gone right at 7 and have been over. I'm betting on the law of averages tonight. I'm going under in the Stanley Cup final tonight, 6.5.
Again, wow, okay.
And I'm win 2, by the way, because I won that Pacer bet on Friday.
I am losing one game in a row, but I'm really about maybe 18 and 2. Excuse me, I'm 2 and 18 my last 20. Give me the Oilers to win tonight. Rooting for the Panthers, going to be in the building, but something tells me Edmonton steals their first game on the road this series.
That's Christian Catt. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. That was our going streaking with Hard Rock Bet. We send you off into your Monday. Enjoy the Stanley Cup tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. If you missed any of the show, go listen back. Podcast format, watch format over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X, or Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Colin Russo here. Happy to have you aboard. Saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow this time around, 4 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 106.3.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing